and welcome to Tools to Create a Better Life with myself, Glenyce Hughes. Thank you so much for being here. I am so incredibly grateful for you. I am standing in front of the ocean. If you're watching this on video, I am on Margate Beach, and this is the beautiful ocean behind me. So, tools to get out of the wrongness of you. Yeah, I know. This is something that so many of us are addicted to. There's the church bells. Hopefully you can hear that in the background. So many of us are addicted to the wrongness of us and going into the wrongness of us and constantly playing with the wrongness of us. And what if we've never been wrong? Now, we may have made some choices that didn't create what we desired. We may have done that. But what if we've never been wrong? Because one of the things with those things that we've judged ourselves as wrong for, if we don't judge ourselves as wrong for them, guess what? We can receive from them. And guess what occurs when we receive from them? We receive the awareness from them. So it creates something totally different rather than this whole idea that I was wrong, I made a bad choice. So earlier, and if you've been listening to the radio show for this month, basically, or October anyway, you would have heard me talk about travel here in England for the last month and such, and choosing, flying in when there was a train strike and then taking a coach and then, spending a couple hours in a coach station because the coach was delayed. For any of you North Americans, that's bus, a bus station. Here in England, they call it a coach station. And so that was not fun at all. I mean, we chose to have ease and joy and glory with it, and not something we wanted to choose again. So what it gifted us, with me not going into how wrong I was for it, what it gifted me was the awareness that that's not how I desire to travel around England. So what it invited us to was to actually rent a car for the majority of our trip. That wasn't our plan. We had rented a car up in Newcastle at the beginning of our trip for a couple days so we could go out and see some sights of Vera shows. So if you watch the murder mystery Vera, we love that series, and there's lots of beautiful scenery, and we wanted to go to some of those locations. So we got the car for that, and then after the experience with the coach and all of that and the train strikes, we said, let's just get a car for the rest of the trip, which is what we did. And so if I would have stayed in how wrong I was, I would never have received the awareness from that experience. And that's ultimately what we're doing. When we're in the wrongness, we're not receiving. Yeah, right? I know, it's tricky. It's tricky because we think that receiving is something, often we think it's something totally different, but that is one way that we ensure we don't receive is through judgment. Yeah, right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, POD, POC, shorts, boys, POVADs, and beyond. So that is the Access Consciousness Clearing Statement. If you're not familiar, you can go to theclearingstatement.com for information about how it works. But it's like a magic wand, my sweet friends, and it's so magical in what it can change for you and for anybody running it and for the people around us when we run it. It's so magical. So it really is this space of recognizing that we always have a choice. We can judge ourselves for the choice we made or choices we made, or we can take a moment and just go, okay, so what awareness did I receive here? What awareness am I refusing here with this judgment that if I just stopped judging it would allow me to receive even more? That's kind of a long, wordy way of it, but really just to recognize that those judgments are ensuring you don't receive from whatever it is. If I'm judging that it's too hot today, you know me, I'd probably never judge that. But if I was, then I'm not receiving from the sunshine. If I'm judging when it does rain here, then I'm not receiving from the rain. And it takes a lot of judgment to decide that sun is good and rain is bad. How do I know? Well, my God, I have spent pretty much my entire life in that judgment. Rain is bad and sun is good. And it's ridiculous. I mean, the more that I become aware of the judgments that I've used and using, it's it's so cool because it's changing everything. It's changing where I'm really willing to receive even more. So that is a tool that if you're interested in changing this, is to start asking yourself, like, if I didn't judge this, how much more could I receive? If you have experiences from your past or situations where you've just spent so much time in judgment of you, then take a moment with those and really look at that. If I didn't judge this, how much more could I receive from it? What awareness did I receive here that I've been refusing? And when we ask questions like that, we're not asking from the place of we have to get an answer right away. We're just asking the question. The awareness may not show up for some time. It may show up right away, who knows? But allow yourself that space. Give yourself that space to really be curious. Just be curious. Like, if I didn't judge this, what could I receive from it? Or maybe it's a person. If I didn't judge them, what could I receive from them? Yeah. And it'll start to give you the sense of what else is truly possible beyond judgment. That's what we're looking for, is beyond the judgment. Yeah. So that's one tool. Start asking that. The other tool, and I talk about this all the time, guys, I just can't not talk about it with regards to this, is of course the tool of interesting point of view. So when you recognize you're in the wrongness, whether you're in the wrongness of you or the wrongness of somebody else, it doesn't matter. Interesting point of view, I have that point of view. Interesting point of view, I have that point of view. Interesting point of view, I have that point of view. Over and over and over. So you get out of that addiction, often is what it is. It's this addiction to wrongness. It's like we don't know anything else. We only know wrongness. And what if we have other choices? I mean, we have a billion other choices with regards to everything. So same with the wrongness. We can choose to be in the wrongness. That's certainly one choice. And what else could we choose? Another tool, and this one isn't probably talked about in this way, but I'm going to talk about it in this way, is the tool of who am I today and what grand and glorious adventures am I going to have? So this is a tool that we talk about in Access to do every morning. And I've actually been changing it up a little bit more present with it, so that when I'm in the wrongness, I actually say, well, who am I today? And what I'm inviting myself to look at is, who am I today? Am I the judgy judgerson that I've been choosing? Or am I the person who doesn't judge? Or a bazillion other things, but who am I today? And then of course you can finish it with, and what grand and glorious adventures. What it allows me to recognize is that I have another choice. Maybe that addiction to judgment has been a big thing in my world for a long time. And right now I have another choice. And right now I have another choice. And right now I have another choice. So we always have another choice. So who am I today? Am I that person? Or am I someone else? Who would I like to be? If I was creating me today, who would I be? Yeah. And it's just, to me, it's such a fun tool to start recognizing that we don't have to be who we were. It's often projected onto us that that's the way it is. We are who we were, and that's the way it's going to be forever and ever, amen. And we don't have to be. We get to change every 10 seconds. We get to change every second, really. But ultimately, we get to change constantly if we would like to. Who am I today? You can even ask, who am I right now? Like, just to start shifting and changing it so that you can get out of that wrongness. The other thing is the question of what's right about this I'm not getting, or what's right about me I'm not getting, which is another tool that you can use when you're in the wrongness. Because we're not looking necessarily for what's right, but ultimately that question gets us out of the rightness and into the possibilities. What's right about me I'm not getting, what's right about this I'm not getting, and again, we just ask it. We're not looking for an answer, we're not going to figure it out, because there isn't a way to figure it out. We're just asking, so that there's so many more possibilities with it, rather than the wrongness. So there is some tools for you to play with to really start getting out of the wrongness, guys. And the thing that I can say, like every other tool that we have, you have to use it. So you may not be ready to get out of the wrongness. You may have more value in the wrongness so far. That's okay. And when you're ready, these tools will be waiting for you. So have a fabulous rest of your week, and I look forward to chatting again next week.